We're following some promising new developments in the coronavirus pandemic, including the possibility that an experimental pill may soon get emergency use authorization here in the U.S. Joining us now, the president's chief medical advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci. He's also the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. Dr. Fauci, thank you so much for joining us. As you know, hospitalizations, deaths, and cases, they're all declining in the U.S. right now. Is this finally the end of the Delta surge in the U.S.? What do you think?
Well, I hope so, Wolf. It's certainly going in the right direction, as you mentioned correctly, that all of the parameters, cases, hospitalizations, and deaths are down. The critical challenge that we have now, we want to keep that slope of decline continuing to go down. Now, as you know, we have about 68 million people in this country who are eligible to be vaccinated, who are not yet vaccinated. The best way to assure that decline in cases, hospitalizations, and death to continue is to continue to get a lot more people vaccinated. We need the overwhelming proportion of those unvaccinated people to get vaccinated, and then we can be quite confident that if we can do that, you will not see a resurgence. It really depends upon us and our ability to rise to the occasion and get people vaccinated.
How do we do that?
Well, first of all, we've obviously been trying very hard. We're trying to get trusted messengers out there and try and get this away from being an ideological or political statement, get back into the realm of pure public health and try to convince people, but also mandates. I mean, we don't like to be telling people what they need to do with regard to vaccines, but we know that mandates work. We've seen that they are working. They're working in schools, universities, and colleges. They're working in corporations like airlines with regard to their employees getting vaccinated. So although you'd like people to do it on their own accord, sometimes mandates actually can help in that regard. As sensitive an issue as that is, it is really getting people more vaccinated.
Yeah, it certainly is. As you know, Merck has just asked the FDA to authorize its new COVID treatment pill. This could be potentially very good news, but are you concerned that Americans are going to rely on this treatment as a substitute for vaccination?
Well, we've heard talk about that, Wolf. I hope we don't come to that, because that would really, I think, be a misunderstanding about how important it is not to get infected. The data on that drug, molnupiravir, is promising. You know, it's a 50% diminution compared to placebo in hospitalizations and deaths. That's good news. But the best way to get 100% chance of not getting hospitalized or dying is to not get infected in the first place. That's better than any drug. So although we're pleased and optimistic about this drug, which is now applying for emergency use authorization, it should not be a substitute for preventing infection in the first place, which is why we get vaccines.
And it's so simple to get the shot. It's really easy. Even if approved, it's going to be a while to see if it really, really works, given the trial that's been going on so far. Let's talk a little bit about what else is going on, because there's a lot of critical issues that we're discussing. FDA advisors are meeting this week, as you know, to consider mixing and matching booster doses from the different vaccines. Should Americans be allowed, Dr. Fauci, to mix and match their boosters?
Well, that's exactly what you said. The advisory committee to the FDA is going to look at that data this week, the next few days, the 14th and the 15th of October. And then the following week, that kind of regulatory decision will be handed over to the Advisory Committee on Immunization Practices for the CDC, and sometime in the first couple of days of November, we very likely will get a recommendation from the CDC. So you're asking me, is it going to be approved? Well, let's wait and see after the data are examined, but you're quite right. In the next few days to a week, we're going to be hearing more about it, because the companies are going to be presenting, both Moderna and J&J are going to be presenting the data to the FDA for their advisory committee to look at.
Yeah, well, should be getting that information later this week. Dr. Fauci, we're nearly 9 months into the Biden administration, and the FDA is still being led by an acting director. How does it make any sense that in all of this, in the middle of this pandemic, the FDA doesn't have a permanent director in place? No one has even been nominated for that critically important position.
Well, I mean, obviously, whenever you have an agency of this importance, you want to have a permanent director. But the FDA is doing fine. I mean, the acting director, Dr. Janet Woodcock, is doing a very good job right now of leading the agency. And the agency is strong. They have professionals in there that have been there for a long period of time. So it isn't as if it's in trouble. The fact is, we would like, obviously, as soon as we possibly can, to get a full-time permanent director. But people should not look upon the FDA as in trouble. They're a very strong organization.
Dr. Fauci, as usual, thank you so much for joining us.